you a believer or are you a seeker? For a believer, truth comes from an authority. There's nothing really to seek out. You follow the truth that's already laid out for you. And for a seeker, there is no authority of truth. Truth is the authority. So a seeker seeks out truth everywhere and anywhere they can find truth. The downside is different for both, but they can also have overlapping weaknesses. For a seeker, the only one you're accountable to is yourself. If you don't keep yourself in check, there's no guidebook or rules to say otherwise. Unless you have the willpower and the discipline to really follow through with seeing where you're wrong and falling short on things, and can be humble enough to accept those things about yourself, there's a huge chance that as a seeker, you could be inhibiting your own growth, possibly without even knowing it. And on the contrary, for a believer, you're kind of at the mercy of other people's interpretation of the truth. You've given up the authority that you are any sort of source of truth. Truth comes from outside of you. Truth comes from a book, from a prophet, from a priest, whatever it is. You're following someone else's rules, someone else's guidelines, and your life is essentially shaped with a blueprint that's not from within yourself. So the potential weak spots of a believer are that you might never find your own truth. And if someone else's truth just happens to be wrong, you're taking it as absolute truth. So you're prone to external influence if you've given up your sovereignty in what truth means to you. The truth is, not all seekers are true seekers. Some seekers are actually believers. And not all believers are just believers. A lot of believers are seekers too. What matters is if you're finding your own truth from what you're learning, wherever you're learning it from, by opening yourself up to learning from different places, different parts of the world, different cultures, that's huge for being able to start building a more well-rounded picture and being able to draw synchronicities around truth. I think one issue in this believer and seeker construct is that believers will view a seeker as another believer and thinks that they have this authority that they would view as ungodly or satanic or demonic, or saying they're too open to things and you have to protect yourself. A lot of these fear-based things. There's so much fear in regards to spirituality that come with a lot of the dogma of different believers and belief systems. But that's why I wrote Love Over Fear, because truly, at the core of it, I can look into any sort of religious scripture or anything really and find out pretty quickly if it's fear-based or if it's love-based. You know, if it's love-based, it's based in a state of abundance and unity and not in a place of lack, because the fear-based stuff, it has this dogmatic, do not question, follow by the rules. Ultimately, there's choice involved in both sides. No matter what path you choose, you're going to come across controversial things on both journeys. You can see many different aspects of repression and suppression of human nature in different spiritual practices as well as in religious practices. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you to decide which parts of these truths you're going to take as truths, regardless of where they come from. The beautiful thing about truth is that you should be able to question it. If you can't question your truth, then how are you ever supposed to know if it's truth without just blind faith? And any aspect of blind faith that anyone asks you to be a part of is likely a manipulation tactic to get you to stay in line and follow by someone else's rules. If you want to learn more about exercising your inner freedom to find your own unique version of truth, check out my book, Love Over Fear, A Foundation for Autonomy at jwesley.ca. Lots more writing and resources, and follow me for more.